Alright guys, we're going to get started doing a little bit of painting here. So we've got everything laid out, so my main body color is what we're going to start with. So to start off, we've got Spastics, fluorescent yellow. Once we lay that down, we'll look and see what we need to do next for paint. Second coat's probably going to be silver or mirror. And then after we do that, we're going to back it with a black. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay the yellow body. We're going to let that dry a little bit. We're going to peel the dragons off. Going to come back in with the mirror chrome, and we're going to back the yellow and paint the dragons with the mirror chrome. Once that's all dried pretty good, then we're going to take our black backer and we're going to back all that with, or we're going to peel off the scales. We're going to paint the backer black, and that's going to paint in the scales in between the pieces of paint. Once we do the black, we get a couple coats of that in, then we're going to come in and we're going to start working the red. So the red's going to be several different things going on in order to get the effect that I'm looking for. So first thing that's going to get laid down is a where's it at? We're going to lay down the candy apple red. That's right, I couldn't get any. Oh, I got red pearl. So first thing we're going to lay down is we're going to lay down on the flames a red pearl. Let's see if I can get that where it's not reflecting light. Can't do it. We're going to start with a red pearl. And we're going to go to a candy red. Both of these colors are pretty see-through. The red pearl is really translucent. It's like red sparkles, really. The candy apple red is a red tinted pearl, basically. So it's going to give it some depth, and we're going to get a couple of coats on there. This stuff's going to look pretty deep. And then once we get those laid, then I'm going to bag that with mirror. So when I bag that with mirror, that's going to really make that red pop. It's going to make the metallic in there pop. I'll lay a couple of coats of that on, and then we'll come back in and we'll back it with black after that. And then I'm just going to make sure the whole inside of the body has the black backer on it. Black backer is not necessarily a black paint. It is, but it's a little bit more robust paint. When it hardens pretty good, and then we don't have to worry about any oils or greases. Say if I have a diff come apart, it's not going to affect the good paint on the outside. So I'm not going to be taking you outside to paint, and I'm just going to explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out, I'm going to shake this up really, really, really good. I'm going to do really light coat covering everything inside. I'm going to let it dry until it goes dull. You want to see the shine go away inside of it. I'm going to make sure that I do overspray it on some of this large vinyl. That way after I spray it and I want to know if it's dry to where I can touch it, I'll touch it right here. I don't want to touch it somewhere where the it's going to be seen, you know. So I'll let it dry until it gets hazy, and then I'll touch it here, and then I know I can go with the next coat. I'll make sure that I do a couple of coats. Make sure coverage is really good. Make sure that I'm turning the body every which way and making sure that I get inside of like all these recesses, all these points, tips, edges. Got to make sure everything's good. Alright, so I'm going to stop here and go get the first layer on, and I'll bring it back in and I'll show you what to do for the next step. Alright guys, coat number one, nice misted on thin coat.
There.
Good coverage on everywhere that I want the yellow. Again, that's how it's starting out. Make sure you do nice misty coats when you do it. Just kind of like you're painting a big car. And then after you do that, just make sure you just mist where the low parts are at, both sides. Make sure that you're getting good coverage on everything. There we go. Camera looks better now. So we're going to make sure that we get all the coats that we need on here before we start peeling off vinyl. If we peel off now, then when we paint the backer on there, you'll be able to see it through the paint. So I'm probably going to get a good 2, 3, maybe even 4 coats of the yellow on there before we put the silver behind it. Alright. So, like I said, this paint dries fairly fast, so I literally stopped the video, went outside, sprayed it, came directly inside, hit the camera again. I'm sitting here inside the house, and the paint's already dried. Super dry. You can hear me rubbing on the paint. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this, go back outside, and I'm going to do the last couple coats on it, and then I will come back to the video. Alright, so got all my coats of the yellow ready. So y'all can see where I had laid the stuff down in here, and there's a couple little bubble ups and stuff. Wasn't really worried about that when I laid it down. Kind of gives it an effect while you're doing it, and I'll show you what happens if you don't have the vinyl stuck down. I intentionally left some of that up, so here we go. So you'll end up with some overspray that kind of bleeds under where all that stuff is at. There was a little part on the flames that I caught here. I didn't push it back down, so we got some bleed through right in this area. There again, I'm not a professional painter. Don't really bother me that much. Overall, it's going to look really good. So I've got about, I think I put about 5 coats on this. Paint's dried to the touch. Took me all of maybe 15-20 minutes to do this and it to dry. So like I said, the Spastics paints lay down really nice and they dry really fast, so I'm good with that. So first thing we're going to do, I'll take the pick and I'm going to get on these dragons here because they're going to be the color of the next color that I'm laying down, which is going to be the mirror chrome color. I'm going to get just under the edge. I'm going to coax these things out of here.
Ready?
The paint's not fully cured yet, so just try when you peel them up. Don't let them stick back down inside. Alright, I was able to get that one off of one piece. Don't let your fingernails scratch on the paint. Like I said, it's still a little soft and pliable, so don't want to scratch. anything. Don't want the paint to stick back down and peel up any. That one decided it didn't want to come up in one piece. That's okay. We'll get each part out as we go. Just kind of put the hook underneath it and let it poke through, and then just peels up. Take that away. Alright, so you can see they peeled out like so. Already looks pretty cool. First time I did this, I thought it looked cool, so I went back in with chrome because I had a white paper towel down and I could see the reflection of the white in there, and it looked silver like you can see on the camera right there, and I was like, hell yeah, that looks really good. So we're going to do the mirror chrome on that. So it's ready for the next coat. So I'm going to pause the video, go take care of that, and I'll bring it back in and show you what it did. Alright, got the mirror chrome laid out as a backer for the yellow, and where we peeled the vinyl off, there's our mirror chrome on our dragons on either side. So the flames go kind of through it. It's going to give a neat little layering effect. Alright, so next we're going to peel off the dragon scales. And when you look inside, you could tell that it's on top of the flame vinyl. So it's going to be a little bit harder process to get this stuff out of here than it was getting the dragons off. This is kind of a lot thinner. It's got a lot of weaving effect in there, so vinyl's stuck down and it's painted down, so it's going to be probably the worst part of this whole process of this design is trying to get these scales out of here. Everything else goes fairly easy and quick. Okay, started good now. Just had to find which angle to pull. It was going to be the easiest and best for it to come up as much as one piece as possible. So try not to let it stick back down, and try not to scrape anything with your tool or your fingernails. Try to be patient with it. Don't rip it off like a band-aid. Go nice and slow. Let the vinyl kind of expand as you're pulling it. It'll come up. Alright, so now that's what we end up with. Right. So this is all going to be black, so we're going to back everything with black before we do our next color. You can see the pink flames showing through there. That's where the last piece of vinyl was at, our last layer. So let me go out and get some black backer on this thing, and I'll bring it back in, show you what I did. Alright, be right back. Alright guys, now put the black on. Black sprays on as a thicker coat. It didn't require as much. I think I only got 2 coats on that one. But now we've got all of our scales are black, and we always use black to back chrome. If you ever take a mirror apart, the coating on the back of a mirror is black. Alright, now I'm going to get all these flames off of here so we can get ready to start laying the pearl next. I'm start with all these flame licks that are stuck everywhere. Try to get them out without damaging the paint around them. I'll say this paint's not fully cured yet. It's still kind of pliable and soft. It's just dried enough to where it's not tacky when I touch it where the vinyl's at. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the pick and I'm not getting up underneath the vinyl. I'm kind of poking it near the tip of these flame licks, and I'm kind of just dragging the pick on the top of the vinyl piece, and it is pulling the tip up. Just enough up to get my fingertips on it and peel it up. There's multiple layers on this thing, so I'm just trying to make heads or tails of what is vinyl and what is one of my last pieces of paint. Because all the vinyl that we peeled up before and laid paint down, you can kind of see it there still. A lot of these, so I'm just being patient and finding them all. Get all of them. I'll flip the body over and see if I missed any. And that's the reason why I use the colored vinyl, this different color from the paint choices that I made, so I can see where stuff is at on the outside. There's a flame lick right there. I didn't see it when I was looking inside. Where's it at? There it is. That was in a hard area to get out, but I get it. Got all the little separate flame licks off, I think. Yep. Alright, now we're going to get this large piece of vinyl out of here. large piece in after the small pieces and they're overlapping, so make sure we get this. Make sure we get it out first. Pink is really sticky. If you guys run nitro cars, they make a gloss backer paint that's safe for nitro fuel. And you make sure you back it really good with that stuff, and it'll keep the nitro fuel from eating up the paint. I've got one more flame liquid under here. Right inside the body line here. There it is. Alright. I don't see no more pink. Alright, so next step is I'm going to lay the red pearl. I'll do that. I'll be right back. I'm probably going to put 2-3 coats of this on. Alright guys, one thing to remember if you're doing the transparent colors, especially the pearls, like I said, it's see-through. It's just got sparkles in it. So I don't know if that'll transfer through the camera. But there are sparkles, red sparkles all through there. And I made sure I got all the flame licks all through the back. Only put 2 coats on there. We're going to wave it around, let it dry. Because we don't have any more vinyl areas to touch, I just gotta visually look at it, make sure that it looks dull on the painted side. If it's shiny, that means it's wet. If it's dull, normally that means it's dry to touch. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some candy apple red. These metallic paints, you really want to make sure you shake the hell out of the can and make sure that you're shaking it in between coats. It'll make sure that the sparkles in it spread a lot more evenly. And also when you're spraying it, make sure that you're doing a light coat, not overlapping too much, and that'll make all the metallic very consistent across. You won't have like areas to where it looks thick. It'll all look the same. Alright, so I'm going to go do some candy. I'll be right back. Alright, so I put 4 good coats of the candy on there. Now candy is kind of see-through too. It's just got a red tint to the paint. Look at the sparkles in that. And you see these dull spots, that's in the plastic coating that's on the outside of this thing, the anti-overspray coating that's on the outside. That'll get peeled off once everything's done. Came out beautiful. It hadn't dried yet. This stuff takes a little bit longer to dry, so I'll wait a little while before I start backing it. So this color is going to be backed with the chrome. And then after we put the chrome on there, and we probably get a good 2 to 3 coats of that, backing this with that, then we'll come back in with a black backer. And we're going to paint the whole inside of it black again to seal everything. And then we'll probably put 2 coats of that on there just to make sure everything stays good. It doesn't scratch through as easy. Backer is a backing color, but it's also a thicker paint, so it kind of holds everything together. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'll do some more mirror chrome. I'll stop the video here, I'll get that done and bring it back in when I'm done. Alright, a couple of good coats of chrome backer over where all the red went. You can see the back of it's still kind of black, and it's got some silver overspray in there. That's that mirror chrome backer. So let me show you what it does. It made that red, deep, multiple coats of pearl and candy, and then you back it with that chrome, and it just makes it pop, makes it look bright, deep and bright. Outstanding. Alright, so next is going to be the black backer, and that'll be my final coat for this. So this will dry a little bit longer. Let me go through some black on there, and we'll start. I'll bring it in, show it, and then we'll start cutting it once the paint's dried for a couple hours. I'll come back and I'll cut it, and we'll fit it on the body, get the body mount holes reamed out. I'll show you how to do all that stuff. So next time y'all see me, I'll be wearing some different clothes. Alright, later. Alright guys, so it's been sitting here drying. Everything's nice and super dry. So what we're going to do now is I've got my Lexan scissors purchased at my local hobby shop, and a body reamer also purchased at my local hobby shop. So I'm not going to peel the protective coating off until after I get everything cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to cut along these body lines. Easiest thing to do is get these bulky large areas out of the way on the front. Makes it a little bit easier to cleanly cut the plastic, so it'll make it more flexible without this flat skirt around the bottom. I'm not cutting anywhere near the body line, I'm just cutting the large hard part off of the front. Same thing on the back. Alright, we're done doing the vinyl templates and the painting. Get this stuff out of the way and make our lives just a little bit easier. Alright. Now the big rigid pieces are out of the way. Makes everything a little bit more pliable, soft, so we can start cutting it. So what I like to do is I like to start with cutting along this line here. Let's do this good starting point. I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut all the flat lower parts first. Take your time. Try not to let the scissors get offset when you're cutting, and it'll be nice and smooth and you won't have any burrs. You could also use an X-Acto knife, which is a little bit more difficult to do, or you can use a Dremel with a cutting tip specifically for plastic. So now I've got the back part cut off. I'm going to come down and I'm going to do the side skirt of the body. Right along the line. Do as straight as possible. Again, I'm not a professional guy, so it's not going to be perfect. Turning this on, letting the light reflect off of it so I can see where the line's at. This is a Mako body, so it's made for the Mako car. So when you're done cutting it, it should fit right on there, no problems. After some measuring with somebody, we did find that the new car's body posts are a couple millimeters further away from one another than they were on the prototype. So we'll see how that works out when we do the body mount holes. May end up having to ream them offset just a little bit just to make up for that. The plastic's pretty soft, so you can bend it and back out of the way while you're doing the cuts. Like I said, I've done a few of these, so it's pretty easy for me to do it without any barbs on it. Alright, so side skirt's cut. So now I'm going to work this back section, being careful with my rounded cuts. I'm as smooth as possible. Now keep in mind, try not to let the tip of the scissors scratch at the paint. It does take a long time for this paint to fully cure, and scissors will scratch it right off of the clear. I think even after it does fully harden, it'll still scratch it pretty easy. Now when I do this, I normally use probably the first maybe 8 to 10 millimeters of the ends of the scissors, and I just do little, about this much, and I just do little cuts, little cuts, little cuts. That way I don't have a whole lot of metal sticking off underneath there and I'm moving around and then it'll just scratch everything up. It makes a nice easy cut. Makes it easier to not overcut something that way also. Alright, we'll start working on this front section here, following the body lines. You can just hit the scissors. I can work these edges really well. Put it into there. Now we'll be cutting this nose section off when I go to mount it on the car. I am going to leave most of it on here for now. Plastic is pretty flexible, so you can bend it out of the way so you can maneuver your scissors properly. Alright, where's the line at? I want me to cut it right along the edge of that lip there. That's a crease. And this is the servo side, so this is where your steering assembly kind of moves back and forth under this part here. Remember guys, just take your time. Don't rush it. I know this is a part where you're ready to be done. It's been taking time. The whole car's taking a lot of time and you're wanting to see this bad boy put together and done. But if you take your time, you can have less mistakes. Just like when you're racing. Take your time, less mistakes. Alright, so we have our body cut out. Now that we have our body cut out, we can use our body reamer and we can get these body post holes reamed out. I like to start from the inside. Just like when we're doing the wings, we're going to go from one side to the other. We're going to get all the exploded stuff off of it. I make my body mount holes slightly larger than what they need to be, so they fit down on the body post easier and they don't tear out as easy if there's any chassis flex. This helps the body live a little bit longer. The front one. Same thing with the back. Try to start in the center. Work it in there a little bit, and then you can turn one direction and let her eat. get the hole started correctly, it should stay pretty well in the center. They tend not to walk around too much. A little bit more. Hole's just a little bit oversized. Scraps going away in the trash here. Trash can under the desk. Alright, so that's pretty much our body. So now I'm going to take our new car, which is kind of dirty. I did take it and run some battery packs through yesterday. Did some test and tune. Did fabulous for running it on a sandy track. After all the adjustments we did, I did have to run the rear shock rings down about 4 turns to get the car exactly how I wanted it at the time. We'll do more as we race. We'll do some more tuning. Get the whole car exactly how I want it. Okay. Body down in place. Alright, yes, okay, so that's what I heard. So, as you can see, body mount in the front went in, body mount in the back has missed. So, the body is up tight against the skirts on the front, so I'm going to ream out the hole in the back and we'll get that rear body mount into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to kind of make that rear hole a little more oval. You can take your time and do that with a body reamer if you'd like. It'll take a while because it does not like to work sideways very much. It prefers to work just a normal hole. You can also use a Dremel. You can also use a X-Acto knife. Try not to leave any sharp edges on there because that will be where your body breaks at. Let's see if I went far enough. Look at that. Fits right on there. Alright, so I don't want this nose piece on here, so I'm going to go right inside the tower here and I'm just going to cut it off because I am putting a front wing on this car, just like so. Alright, so now this body should go right on and off of there. I may trim out this just a little bit more because it is kind of really tight. So what I like to use to save the body some, a couple things. So I'm going to put some RC body armor on the inside of this, which I'll put in key areas inside. I already know where these bodies like to break at, so I'm going to support all them areas. I'm going to put some in the top. And that way if it does take a hit to the top, it won't break it as easy. It'll help give it a little bit of extra support. Now I use body clips with a captive washer in it. When you put those on, press them down kind of good. And then you got your The body clip is basically attached to it by a piece of rubber, a little lanyard, and it goes in there like so. And I do that on the front of the back. So again, what that does is that kind of holds the body in place on this eye, and when there's flex of the chassis, it doesn't allow it to move quite as easy. And it also protects this area. So started using these a little while ago. I really like them. They are helping my bodies live a little bit longer, between that and not wrecking as much as I'm learning. So these are made by Hot Race, some local hobby shop. My local hobby shop carries it, Extreme RC and Hobbies. You should be able to get them online. I'm pretty sure you could. Anywhere who has Hot Race stuff, I don't know if maybe A Main or Beach has that. You check with them, see if they have it. Something comparable even. But like I said, I came across these one day, tried them, and I use them on all my cars now. Every single one of my cars get these things. I got bags and bags and bags of them. The rubber tends to wear out on the outsides of them, which is expected, so make sure you got spares in case you lose the rubber on one. So that is the car, guys. That is the paint. Came out beautiful. So next time you see it at the track, it's going to be labeled up with some stickers on the outside of it. And put my Monaco stickers, my sticker sheet on the sides, my fast vehicle sticker, stuff like that. I appreciate y'all watching all my videos on this stuff. If I come up with any more ideas or I get requests for any other types of videos, I will do them and we'll post them up. So y'all keep an eye on my YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe. If you subscribe, you get a notification that I've posted new videos and they'll show up on your feed. You can keep track of what people have requested me to do, and I'll do my best to give y'all good information without leading y'all down any wrong paths, because I know how frustrating that can be. I've been caught in that. Alright, y'all have a great day. I'm going to go get some yard work done. Later, dudes.